Welcome to the Achieve Results Now podcast, the podcast that gives you immediate actions you can take to start seeing life-shifting results now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Achieve Results Now podcast. This is Mark Cardone.
And Theron Feidt.
We are here to get you motivated today. And this is like such a good episode. We've done episodes before on morning routines, you know?
Yes.
And I feel like when people think about morning routines, they think, oh, it's a lot of stuff to do.
Right.
And I'd almost say morning routines have fallen out of favor a little bit because they've gotten to the point where they're like, when you listen to people's morning routines, they're so complex.
Yeah.
You know, they're, a whole hour or 2 hours even devoted to ice baths and all this. And it just gets to the point where you go, like, I'm a normal person, right?
Yeah.
I don't have 2 hours to get my
I got to get my kids to school.
I got to get my kids to school. That's right. I woke up 15 minutes late.
Right.
All of those things. So, I love this topic today where we're talking about just a real simplistic approach to getting yourself primed, pumped, and ready to go for the day.
And who doesn't like to be motivated and feel motivated in the morning, right? And some people's morning routines is hitting that snooze alarm several times, It could be my morning routine is waiting for my coffee to get done brewing, and then I drink that, and then I can start my morning. And I guess none of it's wrong if it's working for you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. If you're an adult, hopefully you have some habits that are working for you. But oftentimes what we do is we do have habits, but we have habits that don't work for us, or we're inconsistent with what we do. Mm-hmm. We try something for a short period of time and then we move on. Sometimes we need to give things a little time for it to work. So this morning routine that we're going to share with you is very easy. In fact, we call it 5-5-5, and we'll tell you in a second why we use that number. Because we think if you just do it and you do it for a week or two, you're going to love it, and you're going to feel a difference. And you probably already do some of this, but I think combining the three things is really where the magic happens.
100%. So let's crack right into it because, I think number one, which I love starting with this one because it's the one that people always say they're going to do, they don't do, but it's reading, and it's specifically reading something, inspirational, something that gets you going, not reading your emails on your phone.
No. And not that you can't do that, right? I wouldn't really suggest that too much in the morning. Get going first, get motivated first before you tackle some of the tough things or problems. Reading something motivational. And, I think, could you listen to something motivational too? Yeah. Could you listen to a book? I would say that I listen to audiobooks more than I read books themselves just because of the time I have. So, I think for me, I learn very well auditory. Okay. Yeah. And so I don't really have a problem with retention when I'm listening to audiobooks. Yeah. But some people might. So, but I think you need to read also because it's just a little different. Obviously, you're using your visual and you're using a little bit more of your imagination and you're thinking the words. So I think reading is very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that, when you're listening to something positive, you're listening to something motivational, whether it's an audiobook, whether it's a really good podcast, whatever it is. But I do think it's like this specifically has to be something that is, kind of educational / motivational in that, I think there's a lot of benefit to reading other things. I think there's a lot of benefit to reading trade magazines. I think there's a lot of benefit to reading, just for enjoyment. I think there's a lot of benefit to that. But if we're talking about, really priming our pump, right? This is where, I think looking for those personal development books, looking for those books that are dealing with things you want to improve on, whether it's, health, business, finance, whatever, and just giving yourself that 5 minutes to get your subconscious kind of focused into it. I think this is really powerful.
Right. And you let the cat out of the bag, but they probably realize what the 5-5-5 is because you said it, but 5 minutes. That's okay. It's not a secret, but I was going to be more suspenseful, but that's okay. Yeah. So what we're talking about is take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think we all can take 5 minutes. You can find 5 minutes in your morning and read. And
Yeah.
what you'll probably find is you're going to want to read a little longer than that. Maybe it's 10 or 15. But start with 5 and do it consistently and see how it feels.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And I think that falls into the daily minimum,
Right.
idea where, if you want to build the habit of flossing your teeth, you start with the goal of one tooth, right? And I think, and then
Yeah.
you'll do the next one. But I think
Right.
5 minutes is the perfect amount of time
Right.
to rock into this.
Yep. Yep. Now the second one, and these aren't in order of sequential order of how you have to do them. They're just the order that we picked. So the second one is move. Now this one I think is super important because you need to get your body moving after you've been asleep.
Yeah.
Of course, working out in the morning is something I love to do. I know you do as well, and I've done it for years. But that's not really what we're talking about necessarily. We're just talking about move. And moving could include breathing deeply. I think that's something that most people don't realize the power of breathing. And if you exercise moderate to rigorously, you do this naturally because you have to, you're breathing to survive. So you're doing it. But what I'm saying is you could take your 5 minutes and do breath work. And if you don't know how to do it and what to do, there's a lot out there. But it's real simple. Breathe, fill your diaphragm, make sure you're expanding your chest, breathe deep, hold, and then back out. And you do, even if you do 5 breaths like that, you'd be amazed how much better you feel. So that could be your movement.
Yeah, and like I love doing this outside. Like I
Yeah.
love I love getting out of the house, throwing a hat on, throwing my Crocs on or whatever,
Yep.
and just going out for a quick, whether it's a little walk or whether it's even just going outside for breathing. Because that kind of outside it hits you a little bit different. But sometimes we live in an area where climate does not always allow.
Right.
So sometimes that treadmill or just walking around the house or doing
Yep.
whatever. But I think getting exactly what you said, like you lay there for 6 to 8 hours, hopefully,
Right.
sleeping, and your blood is just sitting there and kind of
Yeah.
slowly moving around. But getting everything going helps you get more energy and helps you, get into your day.
And again, you're just like the reading, you're probably going to want to do it more than 5 minutes. But
Hmm.
if you have, you can make 5 minutes in your morning sometime every day. And if you just have a stretch routine, a yoga routine, a breathing routine, or all the above, and that's what you do, you're going to get your body moving. You're going to feel good. It's going to make a big difference in your attitude as well. We know that when we exercise and we move and we breathe, we feel better. We know that. Well, why don't we do that on purpose more?
And I love the question that I can hear people asking it already, and I can feel the email come in. But well, can I add the 5 and 5 and walk and listen to like an ebook at the same time?
Sure.
Sure. And that I like it because that I know that's the level of
Yeah.
detail that people think about when they're listening to this.
Yep.
But you be flexible with it. Like, can you take 10 minutes and do both?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you take 20 minutes and do both?
Yeah.
Sure. But
Yeah.
minimum
We're just
5.
talking minimum 5 minutes minimum.
That's right.
What we're talking about.
100%.
Yep.
And let's get into the last one. So I mean, the
Sure.
last one is so important and so skipped, but it's
Yes.
your goals.
Yes. Yep.
And so this one, I like that it's only 5 minutes because I think people can get caught up and take a really long time doing this. But writing your goals down, you should be able to do it inside of 5 minutes.
Right. Yep. And I'm a big believer in your top three. If you've worked with me at the dojo, whether it's on the professional side or training students, I'm always talking about what are your top 3 good things, what are your top 3 things you need to work on.
Yeah.
And those are just goals, really. I mean, that's all they are. And so, what are your top 3 goals today? Your top 3 things that you must do, things that if you do it, you're going to not only feel better, but it's going to move the ball down the road for you. And so that should only take you 5 minutes to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And one of the things I really like about this 5 minutes is, when you ask somebody, if anybody listening to this goes to one of your friends and says, "What are your top 3 goals?" They're going to come up with 3 in their head, and
Yeah.
they're going to tell you probably more than likely
Yep.
they don't have 3 that they're chasing consistently, right?
Right.
And then if you ask them a week from now, they're going to come up with maybe the same, maybe 2 of them will be the same, but one of them will
Yeah.
be different. So writing your goals down on paper,
Yeah.
it just Number one, it's for two reasons. Number one, as we talked about before, writing them down anchors them into your subconscious so that you're looking for those opportunities throughout your day to achieve your goals. But the other thing it
Mhm.
does is it helps you remember your goals.
Right.
Because believe it or not, when we talk to people who don't achieve their goals, there's a good number of times when they don't achieve them because they just forget what they are.
Right.
And being able
Exactly.
to page back and look at what your goals were yesterday and make sure they're still your
Hmm.
goals today
Right.
takes, I mean, 5 minutes that will completely change the direction of your day.
The power of writing and rewriting your goals daily,
Hmm.
your top three or top five, whatever it is, doesn't have to. You don't have to limit it to three. Is so powerful. I mean, you're right. I mean, that's something that I don't think it's such a simple thing to do. And unless you've done it, you don't understand the power of it. Because after even a few days, let alone a week of doing this, it's just amazing. It's just amazing what will happen. Here's the problem with a lot of people with goals is they know what they don't want.
Yeah.
And so if you ask their goals, a lot of people are going to say, "Well, I don't want this, I don't want that." And it's so easy for them to know that. Well, your brain isn't going to register. That doesn't register your brain. You know what you don't want. Okay, then I'll give you more of that because they don't. Your brain, your subconscious doesn't understand the difference between the positive and the negative. So if you're feeding it the negative of what you don't want, you're going to get more of what you don't want because you're focused on that.
Hmm.
So you have to turn it to a positive. So sometimes what you don't want, the opposite is your goal. Sometimes, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you have to be more specific and more creative. But if you keep your mind focused on what you do want, like I don't want to fight anymore. Well, that's not a good goal.
Hmm.
I want to honor my
Yeah.
friend. I want to inspire my friend. I want to be nice to my friend. That's a goal versus I don't want to fight with my friend
You know,
anymore.
and
I mean that's a stark difference in
yeah,
your.
yeah. Well, and I like that one because I like that example specifically because if you have somebody in your life that you argue with a lot and you say, "Well, I don't want to do that anymore," your brain will still be looking for things they're doing to create arguments.
Right.
And say, well, I'm gonna, and trying to make yourself better about it as
Right.
opposed to saying, I want to be more loving to this person, I want to be more caring to this person.
Yeah.
Goals should always be in the positive,
Yeah.
but really, like the way writing and rewriting your goals opens your mind up to
Yeah.
opportunities throughout the day, I think it's really powerful and it's very helpful. And
Yeah.
like you said, if you haven't done it before, yeah, like this will be life altering, especially as we head into 2025 in a couple of
Right.
months.
Yeah. For sure. Yep. So all of this again, it's 5 minutes. That's all we're asking. Minimum 5 minutes. So it's 15 minutes out of your morning. I'm sure you can figure out how to fit that in. And the thing is, can you do your goal some other time? Of course. Can you move some other time? Of course. But I think if you adopt this idea of 5, 5, and 5 in the morning, and you do it every morning, and then you can still do a workout later. Your
Yeah.
half an 45 minutes, whatever. I wouldn't necessarily count your 5 minute moving as a workout, right? Um, so I'm not saying this should replace your workout. It's just this is how you're going to start your day more motivated.
Yeah. Yeah. Try it for a week. Let us know how it is, but let's
Right.
go through these again. So number one, we're talking about reading, so whether it's, picking up that book that's been sitting on your nightstand for
Mm-hmm.
6 months, or whether it's just listening to a good podcast, audiobook or whatever,
Right.
listening to something positive, motivational that's helping build you up.
Second one is move. Right. Could be as simple as walking around your house. Could be doing a little yoga or stretching. It could be doing some breathing exercises. Just take 5 minutes and get the body up and around.
Absolutely. And the last one is goals. Write down your top three, your top five, your goals for the day, for the week, for the month, for your life. Write them down so they're anchored so that your subconscious is looking for those opportunities throughout the day. And that wraps up this episode of the Achieve Results Now podcast. This was a quick one, but efficient. I love
Yeah.
this 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes to an incredible day. Share this with somebody who would love it, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Hop over to our website at www.achieveresultsnow.com to get your free copy of our book, Ignite Results, for specific daily actions to help you achieve results now. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Achieve Results Now. Thanks for listening, commenting, and subscribing. Now get out there and achieve results now.